Welcome to Doctrine and Devotion, a podcast that explores Christian faith and practice from a Reformed Baptist perspective. My name is Joe Thorne. I am the lead pastor of Redeemer Fellowship in St. Charles, Illinois.
And I'm Jim Fowler, executive pastor at Redeemer Fellowship.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey to you as well.
Now, you know that there is the good news. The good news is that Jesus Christ lived, died for sinners, rose from the dead, and offers salvation to all who are willing to believe.
Amen.
But there is also good news coming out of Redeemer Fellowship.
Oh, yeah.
Good news for somebody, and good news for us.
I mean, great news for us.
If it works.
It's fantastic news for others.
We got a couple job openings.
Got a couple job openings, right? We got the, what do we got? Associate Pastor of Discipleship. That's a full-time gig.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got the part-time youth leader
that
we're looking for. So, yeah, resumes and cover letters are making their way in. Mm-hmm. But if you want more info, over on the website, not ours, Redeemer's.
Yeah, redeemerfellowship.org.
We should link this, right? Yep. But yeah, you go redeemerfellowship.org/openings.
That's it.
Right there.
That's it. There, you can also do redeemerfellowship.org work for JoFo.
Does it really?
I'm pretty sure. Let's see.
Oh, I don't know.
Work for JoFo.
Feel like it should be like
work. It works.
Really?
Yeah, it works. Brian did that.
Why, Brian?
I know it's not working for us. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man, take a look, read it, pray about it.
Yeah, man, we'll tell you what we're looking for.
Yeah,
right. And then, so yeah, check it out. We'd love. Listen, man, we know we got some amazing people listening, and we're starting to put this stuff up on job boards. But yeah, we know you guys.
Trying to get you a little, first crack at it.
Yeah. Hashtag JoFo sent you. Put that in there. All right.
Wait, how are you gonna put that in there?
You just add a hashtag into your cover letter.
Into your cover letter?
Yeah.
JoFo sent?
Why not?
All right.
We'll look for it. It's Sunday. We're recording on a Sunday again. I like that.
How are you going to look for it? You're not on the pastoral search committee.
No, but eventually, if it gets far enough along, then I will see it.
There you go. Fair enough.
Yeah. So eventually, potentially, we'll have a search. Can we have a search committee? They'll be doing their thing, and then I get people. I've got people that have been, I got a couple people that have emailed, and they're like, "Hey, man. I know this guy. He's going to send in his resume." I'm like, cool. I won't see it.
Nope.
The search committee's going to see it. I'll see it if it passes through various levels of investigation.
Yep. As it should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, because we got we hire private investigators. We'll tail the guy for a while. All that. We do all that stuff.
Background checks.
Background check. We do a deep dive. And we'll do a little. We'll put people in his life. We'll plant people in his lives to have conversations with him.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
What is that? What is that group? That there's a group that records people.
Got it.
And they get in trouble when they get on the news. What's that? What's that?
A-Team.
No, not A-Team.
We're sending the A-Team to watch after you.
What's that? There's a group of people.
Are you talking about Bureau Veritas?
No. It's not a movie. It's real life. This guy, he's a journalist, and
Bureau Veritas is real.
Bureau of Veritas?
No, Bureau Veritas. I think that's right.
Bureau?
Bureau Veritas. Dude, no joke.
No.
That's a conservative one, isn't it?
But it's Veritas. It's not Bureau.
I'm positive.
No,
but I might be wrong.
No, it's...
I am only 40% sure right now.
I guarantee it's not that. Bureau. And I'll just do it this way. Veritas Expose... Project Veritas. Bureau.
The Bureau.
You ding dong.
You didn't even.
Bureau.
You weren't even close.
Bureau. No, I couldn't remember.
You weren't even
totally
close.
Gone. It was erased from my.
Exactly.
Like in Men in Black, they put the thing up.
That's
it. They make it go away.
I know, but for you, it's just old age.
And it just would have. It would have worked if I could. We're gonna Project Veritas them, but I couldn't. I wrecked the whole thing. Anyways,
man. Either way,
whatever.
What? But there you go. Openings. That's where you want to go.
Yeah, work for JoFo. All right. So we got a couple of emails here we're going to run through, and got a couple of interesting questions. We got a guy named Chad sending us an email.
Oh, here we go.
And the subject is coffee, Jimmy.
Oh, here we go. Hey, guys. I've been listening to your podcast for a while, and I have been very blessed by your ministry. Thanks for your faithfulness to Jesus Christ and his kingdom. I did have a question about the latest podcast about coffee. I believe that consumerism is one of the greatest problems that we have in the American church today. By and large, we have adopted a consumeristic model for church, and that is in direct contrast to the very foundation of the gospel, that our faith is all about Jesus and that he came to serve and not to be served. I was wondering if you could comment on how sometimes Okay. On how sometimes coffee interacts with that problem. Particularly, you stated in the podcast that, and he goes, I'm paraphrasing, it is God's money and the people may spend it how they like, for instance, on good coffee.
Not what I said, but okay.
He's paraphrasing.
No, bad paraphrase. But go ahead.
Oh, okay. I believe that your conversation was clear in a sense that worship is not primarily about coffee, of course, but doesn't even presenting coffee as a complement to worship help to further the consumer mindset of God's people? I do not know the answer to this question, but would like you to comment on it. Thanks. In Christ.
Thank you, Chad. Thanks for listening, man. Mm-hmm. We appreciate the compliments and the sincere question.
There you go.
So, yeah, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously.
Go ahead. Why don't you recap it for those that didn't listen? And because I wasn't there. So go ahead.
You were there.
No, I wasn't. I was not on this podcast.
On the coffee. Yeah. All right. So we had Eric Anderson on. Eric Anderson is the roaster. He owns a company called Fresh Ground Roast or Fresh Ground Roasting. And so we had him on, and we talked about coffee and how coffee is made, roasting. We talked a little bit about that end of it, and then we talked about coffee in the church and why so many churches provide, coffee and good coffee these days for their people. So we talked about the value of coffee, shared experiences, stuff like that. And I think one of the points that I was trying to make in there was look, we like to give back to the congregation, right? So we think it's a good idea for churches to when we're putting together a budget or when you're doing something, keep in mind, we're supposed to care for the body. There should be ways in which we demonstrate care that even affect the budget. And I said, coffee is one of those simple ways because so many of our people actually enjoy coffee.
Yeah.
That's an easy thing for us to do. It increases the budget. Now, it increases a coffee budget significantly above maybe a typical coffee budget.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at the whole budget, it's a nothing.
Yeah.
It's very, very little.
Yep.
So that's all I was trying to say was listen, it's God's money, right? And he entrusts it to them, and then they entrust it to us. So I was trying to say we should keep that in mind. This is a way for us to bless people. I wasn't trying to say we can spend it however we want. And I don't even know if that's exactly what he meant. Like he said, he was paraphrasing. But so we definitely agree with you, Chad, that consumerism is not a good way of living. It's not a good approach to life. It certainly is inappropriate for the church. And so we would want to push back against consumerism, right, as a value. It's not a value in our church. But so because consumerism is essentially, you're going to start treating people as consumers, right? And so what do I do to, entice these consumers to meet their needs, and in the suburban context, what, that can look like if that's taken over is you begin to create, I'll put it like this. There is a challenge in starting a church in the upper middle class suburbs of Chicago, because people who live there like nice things and they're used to nice things. They go to nice restaurants, they go to theaters, they go to speakeasies, and they like their things being nice. And so if you plant a church and you've got a busted building and you got a busted, you're offering them a sort of a different, it's hard for them to even walk in the door and give it a chance. Now that doesn't mean that we need to make it super nice and compete with all those other things. It's just we have to be aware there's a barrier there for them because many of our people in the culture have bought into a consumeristic mindset. They come to church, they're expecting a consumer experience. So working against that is important.
But see, hold on. There's two things here. I feel like it's a different thing what you're talking about. And I think some people assume it's consumerism when I look at it as, I want there to be a level of excellence, right? I want there to be a level of excellence to not only how we do things, but in the shape in which we utilize the things that God has given us.
Right.
Right. Taking care of your building, right? Doing regular upkeep.
That's not consumerism.
That's not consumerism.
No, not at all.
That is appreciating the gifts that God has given you. And it is in a way you're creating space for people to, people can worship in other, that. And there's been time and places where God has called people to worship underground, to worship in such a way. But we have the opportunity, we have the blessing, right? The privilege to be able to worship in the open and to be able to worship in such a way. Why not take care of the things that God has given us?
Yeah, and that's why I said you have to find the balance there, because the culture is going to demand more and more. Mm-hmm. And so it's like where eventually there is a tipping point where you cross over from, hey, we're just doing things excellently, we're trying to do well, versus, oh, we're going to trick out this whole environment as a way to appeal to people and appease their appetite for in it. So I think at some point it crosses a line, and where that is, I think, is not always easy.
And it's easy for me to like point out things and say, oh, let's change the entire stage into a basketball court for the Final Four, right? Let's go ahead and shoot off fireworks.
I don't like that.
I don't like that. But there's other things that I can think of that other churches do that I'm like, I'm hesitant to say it because I don't know if it's I don't believe the motive for them is consumerism,
right?
Rather than, hey, listen, God has blessed us in such a way that we can take care of kids or take care of people in a way that a church of our size and our budget is not able to, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. So that's why I hesitate, because I'm like, man, I wonder where my heart is. It more of a heart issue for me in that. But I wonder, like, for those that would look at the coffee thing as consumerism or whatever else, do they have the same thoughts with Christian publishing? Do they have the same thoughts with conferences?
Yeah, they may.
I mean, those to me, probably, if we're really, I think there is more of a danger.
Yeah.
In Christian consumerism.
Yeah, sure. Well, especially since there's cost involved in that sense. You're actually buying.
Not only are you actually buying, but the decisions that they're making based upon what gets written and what doesn't is definitely based on,
can we sell it?
Can we sell this at a popular level?
There is no Christian publisher that is not asking as a foundational question, can we sell this book? If they can't sell it, it doesn't matter how good it is. They won't use it. They will not publish it.
They won't publish it, right?
And that's capitalism.
So
is it right? Is it wrong? How do you?
How many different Bible versions? I'm not even talking about like translation versions. I'm talking about different Bible formats within the same translation.
It's the same thing, right? There's like a line at some point, right?
Yep.
At some point, like it's possible to cross the line where, like, hey, I just want to provide as many resources as possible to. All right, now I'm just really trying to make money. And it's like, so I think when we come back to the coffee thing in churches, I just don't see. I don't see it as consumerism. It's like, okay, people are going to offer coffee. Pretty much every church I've ever been to has coffee somewhere. Like it's Sunday school, whether it's in Sunday school or it's in every small church has coffee. So you have to make a decision. Do I want to offer garbage coffee that tastes terrible? Or do I want to offer good coffee? For me, I want to offer good coffee.
Yeah, because I want to personally enjoy good coffee.
And I had some good coffee today. It was really good. Yeah. So that's why I really just think for us and people that want to have good coffee, I don't think that's consumerism. It's like, I want it to be enjoyable. I want it to taste good, so I don't know.
Sometimes I think bad coffee is a distraction.
Well, yeah.
You take a sip, you're like, man.
Well, and
then I just missed 2 points. I just missed 2 of your points, Joe.
Plus, like, I would rather not drink it. I would rather just have water. I would rather have nothing. Well, actually, I don't want water. Forget that. I don't want water.
I know.
I do not want water.
You want Diet Coke.
I want
Diet
Coke.
I have not seen you drink a Diet Coke in a bit.
Yeah, I've had Diet Coke.
Okay. I've not seen you.
I have it every day.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have all the brown liquids every day.
All of them?
Well, not all of them every day. But every day I have at least 1 or 2 brown liquids.
Coke. Are they part of like some like pyramid? Let's hear. Hold on. I want to hear Joe's Thorne brown liquid pyramid of health.
Okay. So at the top of the pyramid, the smallest point of the pyramid, you get your bourbon.
Okay. Yep.
Not a lot of that.
Not a lot of it.
Just a little bit of that.
Just a little bit of that.
But it's on the pyramid.
But it's there.
It's important.
Yep.
Got to have the bourbon.
Yep.
And then you probably have your diet. Probably my Coke Zero / Diet Coke.
Okay.
That's probably the bottom of the pyramid. That's probably the biggest portion.
Okay,
I probably
that's the
drink
bottom.
more of that. And then coffee would be the middle part of that pyramid.
Okay.
Because I have coffee a few days of the week, but I have Coke every day. Yeah.
I did not realize you don't have coffee every day.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, because I don't. If I made it at home, then I would. But
now, is there a difference between like coffee, and iced coffee for you?
No, it's just coffee.
Because I feel like the iced coffee is more than regular coffee for you.
You mean I drink it more?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I would say once a day.
No. It's all I'm counting coffee as iced coffee, black coffee. I'm just counting it as coffee.
All right.
No. I have let's say I have coffee 3 days a week, and I have Coke every day of the week. So
okay,
and that's
bourbon.
Bourbon, I don't know, a couple times.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So I think that man, you brought something up on consumerism.
Ooh, I did.
Yeah, that I wanted to get into.
Oh,
and
was it good?
Yeah, it was good. Man. Now I can't remember it.
I said conferences.
Yeah,
publishing.
We were going through like consumerism in the church and like treating people like giving units. Like some
churches are like that.
Some leaders count families as giving
units.
Now, listen, is there anything wrong with like estimating like, oh, well, listen, here's what our budget has been. Here's where, if we have X amount of families, our budget might statistically increase by X amount. That's fine. I don't care if you're doing the math.
Yeah.
But how you fundamentally conceive of the members of your church is important.
I think so.
And they are brothers and sisters.
Yeah. Yeah. Not giving units.
You're a unit. Calling people.
And how could you behind closed doors say that?
Yeah.
And not expect that someone's going to share that.
Oh, well,
it's got to get out there
eventually, I guess. I just think that and I don't know, but that's just that's just it. It's a different mindset that we're just not. I'm not accustomed to. Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there, a lot of churches where I have admiration for the leadership, and there's some others that I disagree with on some issues, but I'm hard to press to look at like some of those people that I disagree with and think that they would consider people within their congregation as giving units. Like to boil it down to using someone to that degree.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's gross. That's what I was thinking about, because I felt like you were about to say something and you didn't, and maybe you weren't. Maybe you were just referencing something you already said.
All right, go ahead.
But like, okay, so I remember going to a buddy's church they had planted, and it really blew up, and urban environment. And when you go into the kids' room, right, they had one of those things that you would see in like a Burger King or a McDonald's, where like you can climb up the nets and you can go down the slide and you can run through the weighted dummies.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know, ball pit.
Yep.
They'd have the whole thing, and it was like a little obstacle course. And I remember seeing that, and I knew that they did real teaching, they did real discipleship, and they had that in the room because they had a big room. And I was like, I didn't see that as consumeristic. I thought that as like, that's a really cool way to give the kids a way to burn off energy and have fun when they're not being discipled. Plus, I knew that the elders actually timed themselves, seeing who could do it, in the shortest amount of time during the week. But I was like, so I think you're right. Like, we don't need to apologize for making something nice or for presenting things excellently. I think that's fine, but there is always a line somewhere where you can cross into sort of a consumeristic mentality, and here's the thing: like a lot of people, when we started Redeemer, the college or college graduates started coming to our church, and they did not want the church experience that they had when they were kids, which was the super big, high production, it had more of a consumeristic feel to them.
Okay.
They did not want that.
No.
They wanted Jesus, preaching, family, community. They wanted all of that. And some of us who had the same mentality overcorrected by not taking care of the aesthetics and the excellency. And it took us the time to catch up to go, okay, you don't have to overreact to the consumerism. Like you can guard yourself against consumerism and still say, oh, but you know what? We do want to do things well, honor the Lord and bless people. I think that's fair.
No, and like the example you're giving was the example I was thinking of down the road, right?
The youth thing or the kids thing, yeah.
It absolutely was. And I hesitate because, like my kids go midweek stuff and to two different churches.
Right. Both
Both churches have some pros and cons, right? Both of them I know well. One of them doesn't have any of that. The other one does.
Any of what?
Oh, sorry, the jungle gyms and all that indoor. You know what I'm talking about? But I sit back and I talk to my kids after, and all three of them in their different environments, they're all like the discipleship and the teaching that they're getting. I'm like, man, like there's something right going on there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I hear the conversations that my kids are having. I hear them sharing what they are learning. I see them journaling. I see them even now, like my kids are at the age where they've got their iPads or whatever, and we got our family chat, and like they're sending in the morning, while I'm at work, hey, here's what I'm reading. Here's a devotion I'm going through. This is what's sticking out to me. And I'm like, dang, what the heck? And here I am, like at work, like they're having a mini devotion time together. And I'm like, and here I am at the office,
No, man. And I met with a couple this weekend, and they were coming from a very different church experience, very, very different. And they had really, and it wasn't a consumeristic kind of a church, but they decided to start trying other churches. And so they tried Redeemer. And so I met with them over the weekend to talk about it. And Redeemer is not going to be a place where they land for a ton of reasons. Once they found out, they were like, this is not for us. I said, that's fine. But what I can do is I can recommend churches to you that preach the gospel but aren't reformed. I can preach the gospel. I can recommend churches to you that take God's word seriously, but are friendly. So I'm working with them. But like people are looking, like people wind up checking out different churches and looking for things. Yeah. And there's just a lot of barriers that come up. And, for some people it's consumerism. For some people it's Calvinism. In this case, they were like, that ain't going to work for us. Yeah. In fact, one of the people didn't even know what Calvinism was. So I started to walk through it and they're like, oh, like, no way. I'm not down with this. Right. It was like a whole thing. But what I was going to say is like there is an attitude of generosity that we can have with churches that are preaching the gospel. Yeah. And we have different philosophy of ministry. Yep. Different doctrinal perspectives and convictions. But if they're preaching the gospel. Yep. And they're working to make disciples, man, I'm just not angry. No, I'm just chill about it. Yeah.
You know what? Praise God. They allow people like me who go to different churches, that serve in a different church. They still will minister to my kids.
Yeah. And that's like dropping off the bad news bears. Your kids are like, yeah, that's a challenge. They're like, what in the world? These kids are smoking cigarettes. They're coming in here cussing. No, they're not. Your kids are amazing. I love your kids.
With their butterfly knives.
That's right. Butterfly hair's all slicked back.
It's just
like a little gang.
Ready to rumble. Ready to rumble.
Oh, man. All right, listen, I think we ran out of time. Do we run out of time? What are we at?
No, we can do one more.
Okay. All right. Well,
we can do this one. All right. This is this is a big conversation though.
So what is that's a big conversation. Should we save it?
Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and save it.
All right, we're going to save it. Hey guys, listen. We got a lot going on. We got some cool things happening. We're excited to share. Biggest thing going on right now that we're really pumped about is how God is blessing Redeemer, bringing us together. Some cool things are happening, and we are looking to hire a full-time associate pastor of discipleship as well as a part-time youth minister. If you're interested in that, you can head on over to where?
RedeemerFellowship.org/openings.
There you go. Check it out.
We'd love to hear your thoughts. You can follow us online on Instagram and Twitter @DocandDevo or on Facebook /Doctrine and Devotion. You can head to the website, doctrineanddevotion.com. There you can contact us. You can sign up for the email blast or hit the store, joe4store.com, and grab some gear. We got that fresh pod every Monday and Thursday. We got blog posts and video content over at the website. And we've got that all-access exclusive content. We got that Banter Truth on Tuesdays, Weekday Wisdom Monday through Friday. If you want to support the podcast and get some commercial-free, ad-free content, you can hit on the link right there in your podcast player that says support this podcast, or head on over to doctrineanddevotion.com/all-access and sign up today. Later.